Welcome to the underground, you rebel scum. This is the American Expat, and I am trying to set this up to go live again, as we used to go live almost every day. I'm looking forward to doing that again and talking about the situation that's taking place over in Israel. I've got to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting it to light off like it did. I know that they were saying, like, oh, Iran is preparing all these missiles and stuff. I didn't think that they would go through with it. Well, they did. A number of hours ago, they launched missiles at Israel. And according to the news anyway, most of the attack was, I guess, intercepted by the Iron Dome, as well as some help from the United States Navy. But there are rumors on the internet that maybe it wasn't as successful at blocking the attack as what they're trying to let us believe. You know, it's some kind of a propaganda thing. Anyway, we're going to be talking about that coming up in just a second, so stick around. Thanks for sticking with us. I see you there, Savage Airguns. Welcome to the show. I'm actually live both on YouTube and Rumble at the same time. I don't know how well that's working out, but I believe it's live. Let me see. Yep, it is. Oh, man, I don't want to hear my voice talking on there right now. Okay, so it is live. Let me mute that. Sorry, everybody. I had the audio going over there on Rumble. So, yes, we're live on both Rumble and on YouTube. So, if you've got anything to say on either of those platforms, it'll work out. So, as I was saying, this attack has taken place. The scary part is that it came directly from Iran, which is exactly what they were warning not to happen. Like, you better not. Of course, you know, warnings coming from Joe Biden. This is what we can kind of expect foreign nations to do in response to warnings from Joe Biden. He has called off his weekend, apparently, and now he is back in the Oval Office, I guess, to deal with this. If you feel like that improves the situation, he might as well have just stayed on vacation or at the beach, because he's not the one that's actually making the decisions anyway, so it probably wouldn't have made much of a difference. But, yeah, I guess there's a lot of people talking about World War III. I don't know if you guys have been to the store yet. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are thinking, like, time to go get, a bunch of bottled water and canned food, because who knows what's going to happen. I've heard people talking on the internet about how prices may dramatically go up as a result of this. People are saying gold is spiked in value. I didn't check gold. I don't usually check it, but I wouldn't be surprised. I was watching silver over the last few days to see what it would do, but it seemed to come down, actually. Maybe it's going to go back up now. There'll be a lot of demand for new stuff, I guess, if the military starts getting involved in all of this. Silver is an important industrial thing. I guess gold sometimes gets involved with that as well. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. There are warnings from both sides. Iran has already said, like, okay, you guys can just not do anything now. We did our attack. You can just leave it alone or else. And, of course, Israel is saying that they're going to have a very strong response to this. Let me see, what exactly did they say? It's going to be an unprecedented response. Of course, this is Iran also saying it's going to be unprecedented. Absolutely crazy that this is taking place. I didn't think for some reason that it would all start off in the Middle East. We've got all kinds of conflicts happening in the world now. In Europe, in Asia, in the Middle East. And somehow we're all involved in every single one. So I wonder where this is going to go. I have to think, this is why we've been decoupling with China over the last little bit, because if this were to happen, China's kind of on the Iran side of things. So if they're making all our stuff, I think they're still making our medicine. Could be a problem. Of course, China may decide to play this both ways. Who knows? Maybe they just try to make more money off of both sides fighting in this conflict. We'll have to see how lenient the Biden administration is going to be on them. By the way, I'd be curious, is anybody actually going to vote? I think that maybe the Democrats are thinking that if this war takes off, then it will result in more votes for Joe Biden. I'd be curious if anybody is thinking that, like, well, now that there's a war, I guess I'm going to support him. Hey, Mutant Riff, glad to see you here. Let me see if anybody's over there on the... okay, I don't see anything going on over on the Rumble side, so I'm going to switch back. But, yeah, it's... I don't think that I'm going to be going live this late in the future, but I do think that I'm going to bring back the live show instead of pre-recorded shows, because it's a lot more fun to talk to you guys live rather than, I guess, responding to comments when I can. Plus, this, I don't have to do any sort of editing. It's all kind of set up, and that's one of the reasons why I'm running this tonight, is to see that everything is set up so that we can do this. I mean, if there's going to be a major conflict, then... it might be nice to be able to just get on and talk about it as things are happening. Let's see. So as I said, according to Israel and the United States, the attack has been largely repelled by the Iron Dome. They said that they intercepted most of... I'm not even sure how many missiles were launched. I've seen numbers saying 50. I thought they were preparing 100 missiles. Maybe the attack... well, I believe the attack is over now, because of what Iran has said about, like, hey, now that this is done, you guys don't have to retaliate. Which is, can you imagine that somebody walks up and punches you in the face, and then they, like, kind of cower in the corner, like, hey, now you don't have to retaliate or anything. Just never mind what I just did. The rumors that are circulating on the internet are surrounding Nevatim Airbase, which is where they have the F-35s that were used apparently in the attack. Now, if you're not familiar, the reason that Iran did this was because an embassy got blown up. And, Iran has a tendency to to get involved in things. I'll be honest, I don't understand the whole proxy thing. It's like, it's okay if you're attacking me, but you're using some other people in another country, even though I know it's you. I know that, like, for example, Iran, okay, Hezbollah is attacking. We know that it's Iran. We know that they're funding them. We know that they're doing all the planning and all the stuff. But because it's not coming directly from Iran, even though we know it's Iran and everybody does, then it's okay. Or, in Ukraine. So the United States is fighting a war with Russia through Ukraine, and Russia and everyone in the whole world knows that, NATO and Russia, or the United States, are funding the war and providing all the stuff. But because it's not, like the United States itself, even though it is, then it's okay. We can't have the big guns shooting at each other, even though that's what's happening. These proxy wars are ridiculous. We've been dealing with them for a long time. And another thing, I'll be honest with you, the situation with Iran, this was going to happen eventually. Whatever it is, this was going to happen. This standoff has been going on for decades and decades, and it's just been a thorn in the side of the United States government for so long. I don't know how you can go forever like that, just, okay, Iran is a rogue nation, and we don't do trade with them, and nobody does trade with them, and they're over there building nukes and doing all this stuff. And we just ignore them. And, we continue to not fund them and threaten them. And, they threaten us. Eventually something will happen. And I think something has happened. This is how it was going to be. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, gosh, we don't need another darned war. But the way that this has been set up for so long, it was going to happen eventually. This was going to happen. So I don't know that it's unfortunate that it's happening when we have... I don't know. Maybe it could have gone a different way. I've also seen the people talking on the internet about how Joe Biden earlier this year sent, Iran a whole lot of money. I guess that money was used to pay for this attack. So we need better leadership. Maybe not Joe Biden, but Donald Trump is already saying that this would not have happened if he had been in the White House. And I think that he's right. I think that Iran probably would have been too nervous to do this attack, especially after being warned directly by the President of the United States, like, you better not do anything. And, of course, then they did, because Joe Biden, nobody cares what Joe Biden says. Maybe if it had been a military official, like one of the generals gets up and says, you better not do it, maybe they would have taken that a little more seriously. But Joe Biden, everybody knows that it's kind of like those proxy things, where we know what the truth is, but at the same time, we just pretend like it's not. So we pretend like Joe Biden is running the country, even though he's not. They take pictures of him, in there with these people talking, but nobody's actually talking to him. And when he says anything, nobody's actually listening. They just give him ice cream after they get the photo shoot and then continue with their discussions, because who knows who's actually running the country right now. But whoever it is, it probably would have been more effective coming from them. Even if they're not the ones, just put some military person up there saying, you better not, because this, and we're going to blow you up. But they didn't do that. They got Joe Biden so we could, make believe. And now Iran attacked. And I feel like, okay, the embassy got blown up. Is this really a proportional response? I mean, if you were to get the scales of response out, is this really what they should have done? Is this a tit for tat? Because it doesn't seem like it to me. Putting a bunch of innocent people's lives in danger. Probably not. And plus, I'd really like to know what the justification was for attacking the embassy in the first place. Was Iran hiding somebody in there, like what they were, they seem to like to do that kind of stuff. They'll put somebody in there, like, okay, do the really bad stuff, or we're going to run the military operation from the embassy so that nobody can attack it, because then they'd be attacking us. And then somebody does, and like, oh man, you did it. You attacked us. How could you do such a thing? That's an embassy. That's like sacred land there. And you blew it up. But I don't know. I really don't know. And I see you there, Born Again Buddhist. It's all by design. And also, Corsair Trainers, glad to see you here. It's, absolutely, this is by design. I mean, it's been being pushed in this direction for a long time. That's why I say, this was going to happen at some point. We can't go forever with a rogue nation out there that we just, don't trade with and threaten all the time, and they threaten us. It's not going to last. I mean, eventually something is going to happen. It's kind of like with the Soviet Union, They were over there. The Cold War couldn't go on forever. Something was going to happen. Now, luckily, well, I guess kind of, that we're now in a conflict with Russia anyway, but things fell apart in the Soviet Union, and that came to an end. But the situation with Iran, we keep giving them money, that's not going to work. Then, I don't know what Joe Biden was thinking. Maybe he thought, we need to keep the boogeyman over there so we have something to scare people with. Or maybe they wanted to give them the money so that they would feel like they could, enter into the conflict. I have a hard time accepting that they could be that evil, that they would just want a war. I mean, I know you hear about all these ideas on the internet about population and overpopulation, and they need a war to make money. There's all the industrial, the military-industrial complex, and it's hard to accept that someone would make a war happen just for making money. But I guess people do awful things. What a crazy thing. We'll have to see what's going to happen with this. I don't think that Israel is not going to respond. That's something I can guarantee. At this point, Joe Biden, even if he's coming out and saying like, hey guys, let's just back off a little bit and maybe not do this, nobody's going to be listening to him at this point. Nobody cares. The whole thing with Gaza and the troubles that are happening right now, it comes the same way. Israel is not afraid of anything that Joe Biden says. They don't care. He's not a strong leader. They don't care what he says. Just like Iran doesn't care what he says. We've got our allies and our enemies all in the same situation where we don't care what America says anymore. And not only that, we can't count on Joe Biden to come and, bail us out. It's not like America's going to be stopping Iran. They just gave him a bunch of money. So they just decide we have to take matters into our own hands. I guess it's kind of like vigilantism. If you want to look at the United States as the world's police force, which I thought everybody was kind of tired of. But, if the police aren't coming, then you got to do something for yourself. And Joe Biden can say all he wants that, hey, maybe we need to have a ceasefire. But if there's nothing to back that up, then what's the point of the ceasefire? Israel has to take things into their own hands. And like I said, nobody's afraid of what Joe Biden has to say. So the attacks are going to be coming all over the place. Let's see, born-again Buddhist. They are absolutely evil. This is a spiritual war. This is far darker than what people realize. You know, I've been thinking a lot lately about passages from Scripture and that sort of thing. It certainly does make you worry, you know, even if you drift away from a religion in your life. Now, you know, that this is all happening, it's got to at least have you thinking like, boy, this is a lot like what it says, you know. We just had the eclipse, and now this. I'm not saying, you know, that it's all tied together, but I made a little video talking about eclipses, and an eclipse by itself doesn't, it's just the shadow of the moon and all of that. We all know how it works, the mechanics of it. But at the same time, you know, maybe it's like a divine clock, something like that. So they say, okay, it's going to happen around this time. I don't think that what it said in the New Testament was specific, like, okay, it's going to happen. We don't know that this is the eclipse, you know, but it does make you worry a little bit when you see all this happening. It brings to memory all of those things. And, you know, I grew up in a church that talks about the end of the days, you know, the last days constantly. And about all this horrible stuff that'll happen. So, you know, I don't know if that's the same across all of Christianity, but, you know, I grew up with that, and it kind of comes to mind at this point. Like, I wonder if that's what's happening. If maybe it's time to, either way. I did go to the store myself. Like I mentioned a little bit ago, I don't know if anybody else went to the store and bought, like, water and canned food and that sort of thing, but I did, after I saw what was going on, head over there, mostly because I expect that, you know, the prices will go up. So if I wanted to buy a bunch of bottled water and canned food, one, it might not be there, and two, it might be more expensive. You know what? I should have got toilet paper. That's what really is going to disappear, is the toilet paper. And you don't want to get stuck without that, you know, in this kind of a situation. When COVID hit, it's my understanding that toilet paper was scarce, that it was difficult to come by. I wasn't in the country for that. I was in China, if you can imagine. But we didn't run out of those kinds of things in China. Yeah, you know, I kind of got lucky when we were going through that, actually, because we were in the countryside at the time. So when you couldn't go to the store, we had, you know, fresh farm food. Fresh farm food to eat, so it wasn't really an issue. I can't count on that now. Now I'm in the city in the United States, so I've got to have some things prepared, I guess. Let's see, born-again Buddhist again. It plays a part if you understand that we are living in an electric universe. Well, there is a lot of electricity in the universe. Absolutely, everything has some electricity to it, you know. I don't know how it all plays together, but we certainly live in some pretty crazy times. And like I said, it does bring a lot to mind, things in the Bible. And if you're from some other religion, you know, the Christian faith it doesn't have a monopoly on all of that. Muslims, they also believe in things happening right now. I'm sure that the Jewish people also going to their synagogues probably believe in this as well. I don't know how much, but it's a crazy time to be alive. Now, I've also seen a lot of people talking about the draft and people getting concerned that there may be a draft. I don't think that I would get drafted. Supposedly, I'm too old at this point for the draft, but somebody had told me, even at your age, you know, if they're desperate enough, they're going to come calling for you. Well, I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't imagine a lot of younger people are all that enthusiastic about going to fight in some war overseas. My generation certainly was they volunteered to be part of all these conflicts that we were in before that I thought should have brought all this to an end. What's going on? I guess it's not coming from Iraq or Afghanistan. It's coming from Iran, the one that they wanted to get all along. I remember them talking about that back when Obama was president. And I guess now they finally have their excuse. Sorry, I keep adjusting this microphone. It's all so crazy. I don't know where this is going to go. Let me check over here on Rumble. Okay, it says there's 12 people. Hey, you guys over there on Rumble, I see you on there watching. So you can leave a comment, and hopefully I'll see it if you do. And then I can see it on there, so it's not just the YouTube crowd. If I can figure out how to live stream on other platforms at some point, I'll see about bringing all of them in. My internet connection should be strong enough to be able to do that. Wow! As soon as I mentioned the other platforms, it shows that my viewership dropped significantly on YouTube. That's kind of funny. Hey, come on, YouTube. Leave me alone here. Cut me some slack. We're just trying to reach a larger audience, that's all. It's nothing against you. Come on. Cut us some slack here. Let's see. So, yeah, I don't know. This isn't going to go away. And I think that it's going to be all of it, you know. We have to deal with Russia. We're going to have to deal with Russia. We're going to have to deal with China. We're going to have to deal with North Korea. And maybe this is just the time that we're going to have to deal with all of it all at once. Because, I guess, weak leadership. What's that saying? Strong men, weak times. No, good times. Good times, weak men. And weak men, you know, bad times. Welcome to the bad times. Welcome to the beginning of sorrows. That's what we get to deal with. Our generation gets to get kicked in the face by some global conflict. And I don't know what happens on the other side of all of this, but I'm thinking it'll probably be no, I have no idea. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. There's a lot of people on the internet that will tell you that they know everything, that they know absolutely what's going to happen, that this is World War III. Absolutely. I honestly don't know, and I'm not going to pretend like I have special knowledge or some great ability to analyze what's taking place and say for sure. But I would say it's a good idea to be prepared for anything, because anything could happen at this point. We could get hit with some cyber attacks. They keep warning us about that. You know, it could go all the way up the ladder of crazy to a nuclear strike. You just never know. What if they decide, like, okay, this is the time we have to do a first strike to take the United States out before we can make our move? I don't think that it'll go that way. But, you know, they've got all those public safety announcements that they put out. I guess it's good I don't live in one of those cities. I don't think that my city would be a target anyway. We have nothing important. If Russia is listening, or China, or anyone that has nuclear weapons that can reach the eastern part of the United States, we have nothing of value in this part of the country. So you should not target us, and preferably somewhere further east if you're going to. Hopefully no one at all, but if you are, further east so that the wind blows the fallout away is probably the best target. In the ocean, it would be a good way. Just a warning shot in the ocean so that nobody gets hurt. That Russia doesn't listen to my show. Well, actually, there are some Russian people, I think. According to YouTube, if I get in the analytics, there are people in Russia that watch my videos. I guess like some tiny percentage of people anyway. So, yeah. Which reminds me, anyway, that's all boring stuff. Let's see. Juan Carlos, good luck drafting the young, and good luck calling back the old that do not support foreign conflict. Yeah, I know what you mean. They've done a really good job of messing up the military for this. They've done a really good job targeting people who would have been willing to volunteer and calling them terrorists. And also, you've just got young people that hate that we keep getting involved in these wars, and they're just not interested in doing this. I don't want to go to war. I don't want to do that. Give me a good reason. There's no good reason. Joe Biden, forget it. But this is where we find ourselves. I look at it and I feel like maybe that was all by design too. Maybe we've been in a conflict longer than we realize. And this has been the other side undermining our side and making sure that we won't be able to fight the war effectively. I mean, if, the Chinese, they wrote the book, The Art of War, I'm sure that they understand all of that. And they've been hard at work making sure that we're not going to be, able to fight the war effectively. At least I would imagine so. But you never know. Maybe not. Maybe we just really are a terrible garbage country that falls flat on its face on everything. We weren't before, but now we seem to be. Let me see if I had anything else in here. It is quite late, and now I see that this works. So I am going to go live on a regular basis now, probably on a daily basis. On the weekends, it might be late like this because my son, I've got him at home all day, and I like to spend as much time as I can with him. During the week, I can go live, anytime, I guess, that is during the day. I don't know. You guys will have to tell me what time works best. Some people have said when I've gone live during the afternoon, East Coast time, New York time, if you're not in the United States, that works better. Some people say at night, if I get on late, I can do that. I don't know. Am I good for like a late night show or something like that? You guys have to let me know in the comments what works best. And don't hesitate to comment. See? Look at that. Comment. The Communist Party has said to join. Let me know. I'm just testing these to make sure that they work. Let's see. Is Chairman Mao still on here? Where is he at? There he is. Yep. There's not the old Chairman Mao. It's the young Chairman Mao. He's the one that comes on my show. Old Chairman Mao is too fat and lazy to be able to come on the show. But, yeah. Also, you can give it a like. See? Look at that. All these, okay, they all work. Sorry, that was probably quite annoying. But I wanted to try it out to see if it all still worked, because it's been so long since I've been doing the live show on a regular basis. But like I said, it's time to dust it off and get it all back out and start doing this, especially with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. It just makes sense. And with that, I will probably end tonight's broadcast. I want to thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate the comments and everything I need to check on Rumble. Okay, no comments. We still have people watching, but no comments. But if you are on Rumble, don't forget you can leave a comment too. And with that, I will end the show. Thanks again for being here. If I can find I need to get this thing organized again. Yeah, there we go. I'll see you guys in the next one.
ไฟพะวงหลงเฝ้าสาวเจ้าบางปะกงพางหวยงงหลงเกิน